5 high-level administrators at Kennesaw State University have lost their jobs in the wake of a Fox 5 I-Team investigation. Our team looked into the program that provides food for 33,000 students.
Well, last fall, the director of dining services quickly resigned after the Fox 5 I-Team began asking questions about using KSU resources for his personal business. Well, Fox 5 I-Team reporter Randy Travis says state auditors discovered Gary Coltek wasn't the only one making money on the side, right, Randy?
That's right, Russ and Sine. Board of Regents investigators have been busy issuing a series of audits and reports. One came right before the sudden retirement of longtime KSU president Dr. Dan Papp, accusing him of receiving compensation and car allowances for which he was not entitled. 2 other reports confirmed widespread problems in the dining services division, including a failed attempt to keep a critical document from the Fox 5 I-Team. It's an audit generating severe indigestion among administrators ultimately in charge of feeding Kennesaw State students, with words like conflict of interest, nepotism, and a once proud dining division now operating at a deficit with a negative fund balance.
You should have been doing your job and overseeing this, and you didn't do it.
Attorney Mike Puglise represents 2 KSU accountants and a secretary who complained to Board of Regents investigators after seeing our October 2015 investigation into former dining services director Gary Coltek. That secretary says she told the GBI Coltek had her personally bill KSU vendors on the side, including $20,000 to a major KSU vendor, Sodexo, plus a $3,500 monthly fee, all during the time he was supposed to be supervising Sodexo's multi-million-dollar contract to feed KSU students and faculty. Sodexo would only say all allegations related to this matter have been addressed.
On my 5 or 6 trips with Kennesaw to Yangzhou, we've always talked about collaboration.
Coltek built an impressive reputation, the walls of the dining hall covered with his KSU accomplishments. Yet we found Coltek's KSU emails filled with personal business. He denied doing anything wrong.
I absolutely do everything I do every single day for our students, for our community, for our students.
A few weeks later, he resigned. Coltek's supervisor was Randy Shelton, the assistant vice president for auxiliary services. According to this letter from the Board of Regents, investigators found Shelton was also paid on the side to do consulting work for a current KSU vendor. Perhaps even worse, it says Shelton manipulated the awarding of the contract to run KSU dining services by privately meeting with one of the bidders. That came from another tip to the Board of Regents from one of the whistleblowers following our Coltek investigation. Shelton has since resigned.
Well, we know the GBI is investigating.
We do.
Do you think people should be going to jail?
Absolutely. All the numbers mentioned in that audit came from these accountants saying, hey, these books are cooked. These numbers aren't jiving, showing that they're doing a great job when they're not, and then giving themselves enormous pay raises at the taxpayer's dime. Job well done. This is direct theft.
The audit calls for the entire dining services contract to be rebid. Shelton did not return a request for comment. One of the top administrators fired is Associate Vice President of Operations Maria Britt. She headed up the internal investigation into questions we raised about Coltek last year. Although KSU never provided her findings, we did obtain this September 2015 email from Britt to Coltek, the investigator assuring him, Gary, there's nothing here. We'll get through this.
When this investigation started, it was, gee, no misconduct here, move along. Move along, Mr. Travis, no misconduct here.
Now both Coltek and Britt are gone. The audit also slams KSU administrators for failing to manage Coltek's, quote, alleged malfeasance. And it offered a surprise. KSU tried to prevent the Fox 5 I-Team from obtaining this 2013 document, a reprimand of Coltek for years of bad behavior. The embarrassing report detailed Coltek hiring family members, falsifying tax documents, and using KSU staff to do personal work. KSU also failed to share this report with the Attorney General's office per policy. According to the audit, when the Fox 5 I-Team asked for Coltek's personnel file, KSU tried to remove the Coltek reprimand. It was ultimately turned over after the requester specified that his request included the reprimand.
And then it opened up a Pandora's box. So they couldn't keep it covered up.
Now, the other KSU administrators fired this week are General Counsel Dr. Flora Devine, Vice President of Operations Dr. Randy Hinds, and Assistant Vice President for Human Resources Rod Bossert.